the Indiana Fever as they made the playoffs. Side story. Lynn Dunn comes on my afternoon show once a week, and what she has talked about from jump isn't Sheryl Swoopes, please, isn't Caitlin Clark, isn't Aaliyah Boston, isn't Lexi Hall. It is, we got to make the playoffs. Got to put ourselves in a position to make the playoffs in the first half and go make it in the second half, and that's exactly what they have done, much to the chagrin of the hating OG, and I don't know why we're giving her this much time, except that you people want this content, and if you want it, I'm going to give it to you, and I'm going to give it to you, well, I'm going to give it to you with a damn opinion about it, too. Crazy OG, crazy coach, fired because she was abusive. Sheryl Swoopes, one of the OGs of the WNBA, and when you look at her or hear her talk, you understand why the WNBA never took off during Sheryl Swoopes' time because, well, if she was one of the OGs, if she was one of the stars, it was unlikable and unwatchable, and it still is. And she still is. But I also got to tell you, it's another example of the great Caitlin Clark staying above the fray. Sheryl Swoopes won't let anything, including facts, get in the way of her vitriol toward Caitlin Clark, and Nancy Lieberman will not tolerate this slander. I'm a Nancy Lieberman fan. I met her. I liked her. Thought she was pretty cool. Here's what Nancy Lieberman had to say.
That said, Caitlin was, 25 years old. She was, 24 years old. She was a fifth-year senior. Right. She was taking 40 shots a game. Her records were illegitimate. And I got off the treadmill and I called her as a friend. And I said, you can say whatever you want. You can have your own opinion about anybody. But you do have to get the statistics right. I mean, facts matter. And if you just get ahead of this and just say, hey, I made a mistake on my numbers, then this thing is over and everybody respects you for your opinion. And, you might like Boston. I might like the Yankees. It's okay to have difference of opinions. Well, she got upset with me on the phone. And I was like, Sheryl, I'm not doing anything to hurt you. I'm just sharing. We're talking. And so our relationship it pretty much is not happening at this point. I tried to talk to her at the Final Four. Right. She didn't want to talk to me. My life's going to be good or great with or without Sheryl Swoopes in my life. I'd rather have her in it.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's pretty, simple, basic human response by Nancy Lieberman. That does not seem to be out of the ordinary. No, it really doesn't. I mean, here's what Sheryl Swoopes responded. What are you doing here? Now here you go. What does that mean? Now here you go. I get what you trying to do with your boy, Stephen A. Smith, but it ain't working. You know good and well what happened. And ditto, my life is good as what without you too. And him. You want to go there. Honest to God, one of the things that has been exposed by X is how stupid athletes and former athletes are. I mean, that says nothing. You want to go there? Sure, go wherever. I mean, Nancy Lieberman basically did what a human being should do. You have a disagreement. A friend is putting themselves in a position that's problematic. You reach out to that friend and you say, yo, don't do it. Here's how you solve it as a friend. Now, should Nancy Lieberman bring that private conversation to Stephen A. Smith? No. Should she bring it to anywhere? No. But I understand. I do the same thing. I understand that's the world that we live in. I understand that's how we roll, yo. But I don't really think she should have. Here's the title, the headline. Nancy Lieberman dishes on Sheryl Swoopes. While Swoopes sharing private messages, Sheryl Swoopes shared her apology, at least alleged, to Caitlin Clark. And Caitlin Clark's response, I don't think you should ever share private text messages, but that's just me. While Swoopes sharing private messages does confirm she reached out to Clark and apologized, that doesn't mean that she has ill will towards the soon-to-be Rookie of the Year. The stone-cold facts of the situation are that Swoopes has been critical on multiple occasions of Clark. Publicly, she was not on the call for the Wings contest against the Fever on Sunday. She burned a bridge with Lieberman in all of this. Now, the whole thing about not being on the game is interesting to me because right now, if you're a smart network, and I think most of these networks are smart, I think you don't want the drama. I don't think you need the drama. I don't think you need somebody raining on a parade. There was a time where in a previous game, to promote this game, I hope you followed that, a previous game was going on, and in an effort to promote the game that happened on, Sunday, Sheryl Swoopes was on the call, and to promote the game, they talked about Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark being the feature attraction. Swoopes remained silent, which is not what you're supposed to do as a broadcaster. I did this for 10 years. You're supposed to add content to what is happening, add to the promotion. This actually happened to me once. Bobby Knight, my former coach, was doing a game I was watching. Coach did Monday night. I did Tuesday night. Monday night with Brett Musburger. Knight was doing it. And Musburger said tonight, and tomorrow night I'm doing a game with your former captain, Dan Dakich. And Knight remained silent. I thought that was pretty funny. The next day, Musburger said, hey, Coach Knight said to me to tell you hello. I said, no, he didn't, Brent. Let's not start lying. I heard last night's broadcast, and he just started laughing. So I know what all this does. I know what all this means. And Sheryl Swoopes doesn't like Caitlin Clark. She's jealous. Whatever. Probably racism in there. Probably just jealousy. Lee Ross, my wife, has told everybody every time anywhere that'll listen, hey, women in sports don't want other women in sports to succeed. Anyway, here's what Stephen A. Smith, Sass, had to say.
Now, she made news last week when she sat up there and was applauding Indiana Fever players, but then forgot to mention Caitlin Clark. She jumped all in my ass because I sat up there and said, hey, how you going to ignore Caitlin Clark? You know what she brings to the table. How you just going to ignore her? That's not an accident. Sheryl Swoopes is a champion. A champion. Look at her tweet and what she put up about me. You talk about whomever and whatever you want to on your podcast, correct? So why can't I? Also, did you listen to the entire episode? Nope. I have a personal relationship with these players, and they deserve recognition as well. That ain't the point, Sheryl Swoopes. Yes, I did listen to your entire podcast. You didn't mention Caitlin Clark. So I was right, number one. Number two, your personal relationship, what that got to do with your coverage? Ain't nobody said don't mention them. Ain't nobody said don't applaud them. Nobody told you to ignore them. What we're saying is if you're going to give the Indiana Fever all the credit in the world, how you going to mention the Indiana Fever without Caitlin Clark's name even coming up? So then after that, Sheryl Swoopes engages in levels of immaturity. There's no way to slice it. I'm not going to insult this champion, this great basketball mind, this phenomenally accomplished Hall of Famer. I'm not going to insult her. All I'm going to say is it was pretty damn immature to come back at me like that. Called me an effing coward because I called you out for not doing your job.
I mean, Stephen A. Smith is like, everything goes back to 2.5 Men. He's like Berta, where he's trying to get Charlie and Alan to hate each other. I mean, just get out of it, Stephen A. Smith. What are you doing? I mean, walk like a freaking man. Don't get in the middle of two women beefing. Yeah, and I know you got involved because Sheryl Swoopes said something to you, but sack up. I mean, he's like, honest to God, he's like, this is a long time ago, but Mrs. Kravitz in Bewitched peeking around, looking in the neighborhood. Like, what are you doing? Man, sometimes I got to teach every adult male with the great American penis how to act like an adult male with the great American penis. Don't get in between a beef with two women, and if somebody comes at you, so what? Damn. I mean, the drama queens, I tell you, this new media where we got all these drama queens in it, it's unbelievable. Like, I got to tell you, if I was ESPN and I was run by Jimmy Pitaro, and I don't know if Jimmy Pitaro sports the great American penis or if he is just a wimp. Seems like a wimp to me, but I'd be like, what are you guys doing? Why is there all this stupid drama? Stephen A. Smith, walk like a damn man. Step away from the women drama. Honest to God. And you're going to say to me, well, Dakich, you just commented on, I'm just reading my copy. You think I give a rat's ass about any of this? I don't give a rat's ass about none of it. Here's what I give a rat's ass about. I like Caitlin Clark. I like Lynn Dunn. I like Ryan, their PR guy. I like the Indiana Fever. And I want to see the Indiana Fever do well. I don't like Greg Doyle and his creepy ass, so I'll call that out. That's about it. Whether Sheryl Swoopes likes or dislikes Caitlin Clark, I got 2 words for you, Joe Biden style. I don't care. But it's interesting. You guys want my opinion on it, and my opinion on it is I don't give a rat's ass, if I'm really going to be honest. Sheryl Swoopes can kiss my ass. Stephen A. Smith can kiss my ass, and go play hard, Caitlin Clark, and go keep winning. It's actually how I look at it. I don't know, but I'm an adult male with the great American penis. My wife says I'm stuck on that saying. I kind of like that saying. I'm not going to lie. Makes it sound, I don't know, American, patriotic. All right. The NFL is headed to Brazil. Now, Brazil is like the most dangerous country in the world right now. There's all kind of stuff going on, but Roger Goodell, in his pursuit of the great American dollar, has to go to Brazil because we must expand the game. Man, if I were a player, I'd be like, yo, why are we going to Brazil? I want a home game. Anyway, the NFL is being silent about the censorship. Now, this I do care about, of X in Brazil. You all know, excuse me. I did go a little Kamala Harris there with the y'alls and all that stuff. This is NFL Executive Vice President Peter O'Reilly. You all know the major focus we have on growing the game globally for the league and the 32 teams and expanding our presence in more key markets. Brazil is a very important market in helping to realize global growth. We've seen over the years they are very engaged in a passionate fan base. Yeah, all right. Our guy Armando had an article about it. Armando, NFL talks up the game, remains silent. The NFL, which has on multiple occasions made social justice and civil engagement one of its priorities, has said nothing about one of its partners banning the freedom of expression of approximately 40 million Brazilian citizens. One day after the NFL talked about Brazil at length, Brazilian Supreme Court Justice Alexandre de Moraes on Friday ordered X shut down countrywide. The shutdown took effect on Saturday. Well, I mean, we figured this out, right? I mean, we have figured this out, correct? This is only about African American. This isn't about any real social justice. I mean, that's real, the African American thing, but that's all this is about. This is about pandering to their 75% African American league. Everything else don't matter. Look, they would send a team unarmed into Sing Sing to play a football game if they thought they could make $10. They would fly a football field in to the middle of the DMZ or whatever you want to call it between the Ukraine and Russia if Roger Goodell thought he could make $20 on it. Who are you crapping? Used to be the show on a Chicago radio station. They did a segment called Who You Crapping? Roger Goodell, who are you crapping? Whoever this lackey is that's gunning for Roger Goodell's job, who are you crapping? We all understand you don't care about nothing. Your social justice is to appease African Americans. We know that. Why do you think it always says vote? I can't believe we haven't seen Roger Goodell and his lackeys put out vote, 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 and in a small Kamala or whatever the hell her name is next to it. It's all bullshit, the entire social justice stuff. You know it, I know it. The NFL stands for nothing. The NFL stands for money, and I ain't mad about it. Hey, I don't have to go to Brazil. What do I care? Darius Slay, he had to apologize today because he said, I don't want to go to Brazil. I don't know why you got to apologize for that. I don't know. Maybe because somebody got offended somewhere, somehow. He's like, hey, they told us we can't leave our apartment, our hotel, wherever the hell we're staying. Why are we doing this? Some Brazilians got offended. Here's what I would say to those Brazilians. Look, that's fine. You're offended. Let me know when you're not, and then we'll have a discussion. I've told you this before. It's the same thing I do with my kids. Let me know when you're no longer mad at me, and then we'll discuss. But for now, go over there. I want to see you. Gives a rat's ass if anybody Brazilian's mad, glad, angry, or sad about what Darius Slay said. Darius Slay's right. Dangerous as hell, uprisings everywhere. They don't at all allow free speech. Elon Musk has opened up free speech, and it's made the liberals crazy. So long story short, don't bullshit me. Who are you crapping, NFL? You don't care. You've never cared. And by the way, DeMarais has had an ongoing feud with X's owner, Elon Musk, that began in April when the judge ordered the suspension of approximately 300 accounts for allegedly spreading disinformation. Yeah, I don't know, and I don't care. I don't care about X in Brazil. I care about X here because it's my news gathering site. And Elon Musk has done more for free speech than any other company maybe in the history of the world. I mean, think about it. Every speech you get, and Mark Zuckerberg admitted to it, is biased, slanted, and pointed in the direction of the left, the Lalui, Hakalui. But anyway, X is the shining light, at least in my opinion. And it pisses people off because no longer can they set algorithms. No longer can they set it to the left. We dealt with it on YouTube. Are you kidding me? I got a real education about YouTube and what it does to conservative sites. We live in a world of censorship. X doesn't seem to be that. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Heck, I'm always wrong. And you guys are always right. I mean, if a fake name guy can say it on X, then it must be true. You know my saying. It used to be if two guys in a bar told me something, then I believed it. Now it's if a one fake account on X tells me it, I got to believe it. I'm kidding. I don't believe nothing. Thank God for community notes. But back to the NFL. If I were a player in the NFL, again, I like being at home. I'm a homebody. I make absolutely no excuses or apologies for it. I like the crib. Always did like the crib. Will always like the crib. That's just who I am. I want to go to Brazil to play a football game. I want to go to Brazil to go to the beach. I want to go to Brazil to see thongs. I want to go to Brazil for that reason and that reason only. No other reason to go to Brazil. Just saying. Brazil's a nice country. Neighbors down the street, the Bacalos, were from Brazil. Great people. But I don't want to go to Brazil and play football. It's football season. I want to play at home or I want to play on the road. I don't blame nobody. Oh, wait. Here is Clay Travis's reaction. I doubt the NFL would do it, but it'd be a strong move to support freedom of speech by canceling next Friday's game in Brazil over the banning of X in the country and playing Eagles Packers back home in the U.S. U.S. reporters, teams, and players won't be able to tweet from Brazil. That's how important Twitter is. Not only do you have to attend the game and report on it, you got to live tweet it. Going back to this judge, among the hundreds of accounts DeMorales wanted Musk to ban for unfriendly, included that of Jair Messias Bolsonaro, the 38th president and last left-wing president of the country. So this guy did what Twitter did before, ban the president, wanted to ban the president. Where have we seen that before? Oh, Donald Trump. Isn't it amazing, seriously, isn't it amazing if you really think about it and if you have any ass to you, meaning you're a little bit old, how interesting the last 10 years have been? How fascinating, I don't know, maybe the last 14, 15, maybe going back to 2010 have been. I remember saying, I'll never get on Twitter. What are you talking about? Twitter used to be a place where people said, hey, I'm at 38th and Keystone getting shot by gang members. Used to be a site that told you told other people where you were. Now, I don't know. It is fascinating. Now the biggest thing about playing a football game in Brazil isn't the football game in Brazil. It's because nobody will be able to tweet from there. And he's right. Really fascinating. Hey, Fat Dan and Knee Pads, Dan Lebitard and Stugotz, announced an agreement with NBC's Peacock. The streaming service is going to air the Dan Lebitard show on weekdays 12 to 3. Same time frame as a Pat McAfee show on ESPN. If Lebitard is as popular and he and his minions claim, he should be able to top McAfee online between YouTube and Peacock. Yeah, it ain't happening. Let's look at some of the numbers. Dan Lebitard to go head-to-head with Pat McAfee on Peacock. Going to get crushed. Last Friday, McAfee drew 432,000 views on the platform. Le Batard's show drew less than ours, 23,000. The gap was closer on Thursday. Le Batard was outdrawn by McAfee, 345,000 to 24,000. Less than ours. McAfee's highest rated episode on YouTube reached 2.3 million views. Le Batard's highest was 146,000. Less than ours. We did 155 with Barkley, and I think more than that with Dan Patrick. Listen to this. This is where you get killed. McAfee rotates between Bill Belichick, Nick Saban, Aaron Rodgers. Le Batard's going to have Jamel Hill, Katie Nolan, Rex Chapman. Man, didn't Rex Chapman's show like this one last like 2 minutes? I think Chapman's show lasted 2 minutes. I remember when Katie Nolan was like the cool it girl. I actually liked her at CBS. She got big money to go to ESPN, and next thing you know, boom, never saw her. And Jamel Hill, well, I mean, she's Jamel Hill. I mean, what do you want me to say? I mean, it's pretty simple. Le Batard was mad at ESPN at the time. ESPN chose McAfee over Bomani, me, and Sarah. And whatever it is that we were doing that doesn't fit with the politics of whatever McAfee's doing, well, it's not politics. It's you're not entertaining. If you ever watch Le Batard's show, it's terrible. I mean, terrible. Now, I get it. He is a voice. He knows how to use his ethnicity, I guess. And I'm sure he has a little base of somewhat dorky-ass cool kids. And whenever you criticize his show, they're pretty smart. They say, well, you just don't get the show. And they're right. Le Batard was a lead-in to my show in Indianapolis. And honest to God, it was awful. Our morning show was pretty good. It would be here. Then it dropped to here. I don't know if you can see me. It dropped to here. And my show ended up bringing it up to here, and then the afternoon dropped it down. But that's all right. That's why we were the best show in America. We had to overcome Le Batard. He was horrible. God-awful. But anyway, doesn't fit the politics of whatever McAfee's doing, which is not going to go near Trump and is going to rah-rah the hell out of football very well all season. I don't know if it's so because I can't go back in time. And I know if it would actually be possible to have my politics and be what that is, because it's inescapable that post-George Floyd, what happened there is they told me focus group showed no politics with this, and that show's not going to have politics. Yeah, right, so what? I mean, you know, these little fat-ass media guys don't understand having a boss. Boss says we do research. First off, you're not likable. Second off, your politics suck. Third, people in our focus groups, we've done the research, don't want to hear your politics. I don't know how hard that is. See, people all across the country now want to hear my politics. You see this phone? This phone is filled with every single damn near time I open it. It is filled with people saying, Dan, thank you for speaking up. Thank you, blah, 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 blah. Honest to God, I've never had this so much. Never. From people. And it's because of this show. Anyway, long story short, McAfee's going to shred, absolutely shred Le Batard. But give Le Batard credit. He's made a lot of money. Being a fat, sedentary guy that really isn't interesting, has no energy, and isn't entertaining. But he's found a niche for himself. Just like all the other, quote, cool kids have. Hell, Mina Kimes is actually an analyst on football games. Good for her. Bad for us. Hey, Jim Harbaugh's speaking. Man, I got to tell you, Jim Harbaugh has joined Barack Obama, George Bush Jr., or George W., whatever the hell his name is, Barack Obama, George Bush Jr., Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, and now we've got Jim Harbaugh as people I just can't stand hearing speak. I just can't stand it. I mean, it drives me nuts. When I have no respect for him, so when I hear him speak, I just go, man, do we really got to sit there and listen to this? But we do. He shreds the NCAA after sanctions stemming from Connor Stalions' case. They have no credibility, Harbaugh says. Jim Harbaugh shreds the NCAA as sanctions stemming from. They have no credibility. Among the notice of allegations to Michigan, stemming from the Connor Stalions investigation, Harbaugh kept it simple. They've been keeping money away from players for decades. That has nothing to do with Connor Stallions. By ESPN, they just got hit with a $2.7 billion lawsuit. They have no credibility. That's the truth. That has nothing to do with you cheating. Zero. Not a thing. So, yeah, I mean, you can say that, sure. Have they been keeping money? I suppose. But I also know this. That doesn't have anything to do with you being a cheat. Like, okay, they have no credibility. I guess you're trying to tie one into the other. But your own president walked into a meeting with the NCAA thinking that he was going to straighten all this stuff out. You, Jim Harbaugh, weren't honest with your president. You, Jim Harbaugh, made your president into a laughingstock and a fool because he walked into that meeting and walked out. The estimates are between 25 and 35 minutes later, hat in hand, dropping his suit against the NCAA. So there is some credibility there. You can't ever get an honest answer, but I would ask your president, how much credibility do they have? How much credibility do you have? Because Harbaugh has been lying and lying and lying probably since birth. Now, I would bet it's been since birth. I would bet, and I go back to a story about a guy named Grant. I think it's Christian Grant or something Grant. Kind of a tough Stephen Grant, tough linebacker with the Colts. Heard Harbaugh, when he was a quarterback of the Colts, talking about Jesus and God. He was talking about Jesus and God when in a post-game interview. And Grant grabbed Harbaugh, and because Grant was a devout Christian, threw him up against the locker and said, you don't live your life that way. You've never lived your life that way. If you keep being a phony about God, I'm going to kill you. Well, I'm going to beat your ass, is what he said. So Harbaugh's been doing this for a long time. Okay, the NCAA has no credibility. I would say they do in your case. I mean, hell, your own school suspended you. Your own league suspended you. Nobody sees this. Why am I the only one that sees this? That's why this show's the best. Oh, man, I don't blame him. File this one. I got to get Nick involved in this. File this under I don't blame you. Seminole fan, Florida State. We're calling him a coward. I don't know. He quit X after declaring he would eat literal dog poop if Florida State lost to Boston College. The CFB universe remembered. Screenshots are forever. Here's the initial proclamation. Nick, I need you to chime in on this. If Florida State loses to BC this weekend, I will eat them out of a red Solo cup with a spoon and post a video of me doing it. All right? At 321 no. Fast forward. Here's the deleted account. Let's show this. Uh-oh. Sickos committee. He gone. He gone. Nick, I don't blame the guy even a little bit. Do you?
No, I don't blame him either. I mean, he's also a dipshit for even putting this bet out. I get he's just trying to be funny. He's trying to get clicks. I truly don't think that he thought Florida State was going to win. But like, how dumb do you got to be to at least do this? Because I don't know. I would guess he probably had a pretty prominent Instagram. The fact that he had 5,000 likes on it, almost 6,000 likes on it, that's his own fault. This is his own fault. The internet is ruthless.
A guy named David Cohn, not the pitcher, who I really dislike. I dislike this Cohn guy. I think this Cohn guy is a little pussy. I've always thought this about this Cohn guy. He chimes in. I think he's a former Michigan player. He came at me with some nonsense. But I'll put him up there because I'm the bigger man. But this is what this little pussy David Cohn had to say. We used to stand for something. That's clever. That's David Cohn. John Fanta, who I don't know. I heard him once on the TV, and I was unimpressed. Public service in life, don't say you're going to eat animal waste if something happens. Yeah. Fanta. Fanta's about Fanta. Well,
I think he's. I mean, I would say John Fanta's probably right on this one. Don't say that if you're not going to do it. I get you're trying to be funny, but
why?
Still.
Why? Why not?
Because the
we're
internet
talking
is
about him. But nobody. Here's the
I'm
deal.
saying
Nobody knows the guy's name. Hold on. Hold on. Stop at the period. I don't know when you stop. You stop, and then you keep going with some gibberish. You made the point. Now stop. You do this all the time. Make the point. Stop. Don't make the point. Stop, and then start again. Make the point. Sit. Where's your neck? I'll strangle you. No, you said. Don't do. Why not? Nobody knows who he is. He's got people talking about him. He'll resurface, and his followers will blow up.
The guy's followers, the guy who's going to eat the shit.
Yes, he'll return.
He'll return for sure, but like. They're still going to go. I feel like the internet is still going to go after him. It's just like, hey, I see you're back. You still going to follow through with that bet?
If you put Nick Crea on there, your name, that would be a problem. Or his name. You see what I'm saying? I think this is brilliant. Why is it like he didn't put his real name on there. He just put Slapdick Johnny on there.
But there are people who tweeted out, if you know this guy and you know his personal information, please send it to me so we can follow up with him over phone number, Instagram, and Snapchat. And people did it. So people still went after him. Like that guy from Barstool, Jack Mack, found his Snapchat account through just somebody random who gave him like a tip in his DMs, and he still went after him. He was just like, hey, you still got that bet. Need you to eat out of the red Solo cup.
I'm just crabby because you guys put a David Cohn tweet in there. I'm just pissed because of that. Little twerp.
I had no idea you didn't like the guy.
I know. It's hard to keep up with all my beefs.
I know. Okay, well now we know where to put this guy on the shit list for going forward.
Yeah.
So no need for
all right,
I'm just gonna go out. Hold on. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say probably in the future, just no Michigan men. No Michigan men whatsoever, because that'll really irk your personality.
They've been mean to me. Michigan men been mean to me, and when you're mean to me, I cry like a little bitch. That's what I do. All right, let me ask you a question. You're young, I'm old. I always defer to the young. If you were going to say, let's say, all right, you're a Mets fan, all right? Let's say the Mets were up 3-0 in a series, and you were going to say, if the Mets blow this series, I'll do what? What would be like, oh, that's over the top, that you would say you were going to do? I'm stalling so you can think about it here now. What would you say you're going to do? All right, go ahead.
I'll run butt-ass naked through town in broad daylight.
What town?
Don't matter. Name the time, name the place.
Yeah, but that's just going to get you arrested.
It's egregious, right?
What would you eat?
I'd rather do that.
I want you to get arrested.
I'd rather eat. I don't know. I'm not a picky eater, but like, I don't know, something about my own excrement just not sound appetizing, especially out of a red Solo.
No.
So I think I'm going to go.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to say that. What would I eat though? I don't know.
Did you ever see the video, Two Girls in a Cup?
Stop, dude. Come on, bro. Of course I've seen it. I was in middle school.
I did not. In middle school?
Did your kids show you? Did your kids show you that or something?
No,
yeah, I was in sixth grade when that video came out.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it, but I think it's all fake. That was like a Frosty they were doing that with.
No, it wasn't. Because you haven't seen the video, so you don't know.
Saw
hey, you know what? At the end of the day, when you're on your way to work, go look it up.
My friends have told me it's the grossest thing ever.
It's
all right. Give me your
putrid.
answer on this. A Philadelphia Eagles fan, Joe from South Philly, explains why he is out at bus shelter at 34th and Walnut, covering up what the team called a counterfeit political ad. Let's hear from Joe from South Philly.
All right, Joe, why are you doing this?
Well, this is a circumstance that's very concerning to me, Steve, because whoever put this inside this casing did several things. I'm a lifelong Philadelphia guy from South Philly. I love the Eagles, loyal to them to the end. I am a Republican, just to say that to you. But my concern here is that is not that someone is expressing an opinion, which everyone's entitled to do, but this person is lying to everyone that comes and uses this stop. Okay, that's what I'm very concerned about. The fact that they're spreading lies that the Philadelphia Eagles endorsed Kamala Harris as a candidate for president in the United States. We all know Philadelphia is the battleground for Pennsylvania. And these type of lies are the things that prevent honesty in the election process. And I think that's what we have to promote, the integrity of the process. Everyone comes out to vote after they decide who to vote for. Now, in this respect, the Eagles already came out and made a statement.
Hey, Nick, there's a lot of shady stuff with that statement, though. A lot of people are saying that where was one of their media guys that put that out. I don't know. You're a crazy East Coast guy. Would it bother you if the Mets, your team, came out and said we support either Trump or Harris? Would that bother you?
It pissed me off, yeah. Because the Philadelphia Eagles don't speak for all their players. I guarantee you, there's somebody on that team who probably said, "Yeah, this photo doesn't speak for me." That would piss me off, yeah. If I were a player and as a fan, yeah. I mean, I will never ever guess any team would come out with a political statement saying Trump 2024. Would I guess a team would do that for Kamala? 1,000%. I think, when we were talking to Hammer yesterday, he said the Golden State Warriors would be the type of team to do it. I fully believe it for Kamala Harris. That would piss me off because they have such a big prowess. So
I agree. I agree with Hammer, too. Jason Allen Hammer, our friend, we did a little post show yesterday, and he said that he said that the Golden State Warriors, because obviously we've got Kerr and we've got Curry, that they would be the team. I agree with what he said. I did. I totally agreed. Totally agreed. Man, I don't know. I can we put a bet where you have to run down the middle of Manhattan like Times Square naked? I don't want to see you get arrested though. I don't want to see you streaking, number one, and number two, I don't want to see you get arrested.
All right, so what about like one of those banana hammocks? Like when you go like to like some tropical vacation, you see some foreign dude trying to get a whole like orange ass glow going on, and he doesn't want any tan line showing. Like one of those.
Yes.
Maybe I'll do that.
Yeah.
I won't get arrested.
They hit that guy.
But people are definitely going to look at me like I'm a fucking idiot.
Yeah. They had the singing cowboy. What was he wearing, a diaper or something? I don't know. He was always wearing that kind of thing. Like, yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
He's like right over here. He like will perform right over here in Times Square. Yeah, it's quote unquote the naked cowboy, but he's in that that little jockey that he's got going on.
Yeah.